Today's episode is about a weapon that constantly upgrades itself. And that kind of reminds me of us on our channel and how we have continued to upgrade it.
Yeah, consistently evolving, trying to be better, but I think the real question is how long until we inevitably destroy our own creation.
Oh, I give it a year.
Once unleashed, the unit is invincible.
The crew is hunted by a computerized killing machine.
It's one of those things after my ship.
Now the Enterprise is targeted for destruction.
Return fire!
We missed!
Backup system's failing!
It's a duel to the death with an invincible enemy on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Terminator type episode where this whole planet wiped out this entire civilization by this weapon that kept upgrading itself. It was on a classic TOS set, plain blue backdrop, but also you'd think it's like, okay, it's just like a flat set, but no, they have this big like underground cavern. We see like camera angles from up and down. Data fucking jumps from the top to the bottom and just like broken knees. Nope, he's fine.
And he landed head first, so.
Oh! Yeah!
My favorite thing about it was all the character stuff. I did not expect for what this episode was to be the episode to get so much on Geordi's character, mainly in the B story, and then also some Dr. Beverly stuff in there too. But we can start with Geordi. What did you think of the whole B storyline? While Picard, Riker, everybody's down on this planet, Geordi is acting captain. Troy, Worf, they're all up there dealing with these kind of greenhorns that are up in Data and Geordi's usual spot. That whole B story, what did you think?
I loved it, yeah, just seeing someone else handle the pressure of being in the chair. We get this guy from engineering, I outrank you, this, and like Geordi having the confidence in himself saying, no, Picard put me in charge, go F yourself, get back down there, and it's like, whoo, and then like actually using Counselor Troy in a different way that still gets her gimmick across.
No, wait, they're good officers.
Yes, but they lack battle experience. They're worried about making mistakes, and they need some encouragement.
And Geordi thinks like she's like attacking him, like, yeah, I'm nervous, yeah, I'm this, like, yeah, of course. It's like, no, I'm talking about the two, like, those are two like new officers. Like, he's like, oh no, I have faith in them. Like, no, you have to like reassure them, you be confident in them and all that. So all that was great.
I don't know if we've ever actually seen Troy use her power on members of the crew. It's always this introducing, the outside character that she reads. And yes, these characters, was it Silos and Sue?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
They're new to us, but presumably they're not new to the Enterprise, like they've been here. So to see her kind of read members of the crew was a nice different touch, and just an interaction between her and Geordi. It was just, again, another new combo. As the show goes on, everyone's eventually going to have one-on-one interactions with each other. And I just loved how much screen time and everything they gave to Geordi. Look, I hate to say it, it's not something we ever would have seen in TOS. Like, at that time, they had their big three, throw Scotty a bone once in a while with a side story, whatever, but...
You're not going to see an episode with Sulu taking the chair for half the episode.
And if he does, it's completely in the background, and they cut to it once or twice. Like, no, Geordi had his own episode, basically, back on the bridge. Plenty of screen time, plenty of development, its own twists and turns. This is the second time now, the Wesley going to the academy to take the test, and now this, where I feel like there's a full, complete B story that doesn't take away from the main story and is able to kind of basically stand on its own, where we get two complete stories in the episode. In this case, I think I actually liked the Geordi story more than our main story here.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that one, but yeah, this was definitely my favorite episode so far for Geordi's character. The Visor one, obviously the Worf episode, the Visor thing was cool, but this is more so about Geordi himself.
But what about the stuff on the planet? What about this, little practical effects, like that whole thing? Like, it's a lot of weird questions, like, okay, like the solution. Oh, just tell it we bought it. It's like, okay, shut it down. And then, like, no one thought of that, and this entire civilization was wiped out before they could put in the failsafe for these weapons.
In terms of what I liked about it, love seeing the set. Like you said, the set was very intricate, well done. The makeup on Dr. Beverly when she gets injured was pretty convincing and well done as well. And that whole part of the story I liked with her character.
Actually seeing blood.
Yeah, actually seeing blood that didn't look like grape juice, Yeah.
So
that was all good. I did not care for the story itself. Like, it was a very simple story once you, like, knew what was going on, but I could kind of tell from the beginning, not in the terms of the Terminator destroyed itself, but I could tell from the beginning, like, oh, it's going to kind of be like this weapon got too powerful. I just didn't put together that final connected dot of it killed everyone on the planet, which in hindsight, I don't know how I missed that, but I kind of like, oh, every time they kill the thing, it comes back stronger, you know, and it probably hadn't encountered like a phaser or anything. That's why the first one was so vulnerable to it, and then it got a shield and all that. So and also the ending, like you said, I actually don't think it's terrible because how they set it up is like a used car salesman guy.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, wherever you're from, greetings. Welcome to Minos, the arsenal of freedom.
That's a tough one because they set up this used car salesman thing, but it's like they're willing to do anything to turn it off because it's trying to kill him, so you can't really have a fun ending. It's just like, yep, we bought it. That's it. And if it was shut down, like Geordi and half the ship shoot that thing down, was that part of it? I thought it was already shut down at that point.
Yeah, the timing of that didn't make any sense because they had already turned it off and he was still fighting this thing. You could argue like, oh, that thing was already produced or whatever, but then when they shut off the machine, the one that was on the planet went away on its own, so you'd think the thing out in space would too. I think that was just the timing. The script wasn't perfect.
Editing could have, yeah.
Hear me out on this, though. I understand they had to pull up the projection when they did because of the exposition. He had to kind of explain what was going on.
Impressive demonstration, isn't it?
Demonstration.
But if you could find a way for them to find out all of that without the projection of finding out, oh, it's this perfect weapon, and then it destroyed the planet and everything. Have him come in at the end, like how he did at the beginning, and had that recorded message. Have a recorded message at the end about, like, you know, okay, you've seen what it can do, so do we have a deal? Do you want to, like, have that bring it up, and then have the crew have the dumbfounded, like, oh, this has all just been a sales pitch. You know, yes, we'll buy it, and then it turns off, instead of it just being like Beverly just turn it off, and Picard just going like, oh, okay, like,
yeah, like if there's something where like the message gets cut off like halfway through when it's first played, and then when they finally like, get the rest of the message, they realize it's a sales pitch.
Because Picard literally has Data shut it off in the middle of the message at the beginning of the episode.
We don't just provide weapons.
Shut that off.
We provide complete weapon systems.
Yes, it should have been a continuing, and yeah, absolutely.
Instead of it being this kind of like sentient, like it could talk to Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of clunky.
If they just completed them and like, yeah, they get it back on and like, you know, Picard's like, oh, I said, you know, turn that off. It's like, wait, and then they finish it, and it's like, and this could be yours. Do we have, you know, do you have a deal? You know,
yeah, if you want to buy it, hit this.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, just press right here. I got super worried when like Picard found the view screen, and then like it showed like that, like a giant computer. I'm like, oh no, Picard versus computer.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be the sentient Terminator type thing, but not. It is, but not really.
Yeah.
Like it's not really sentient. It's just designed to kill. Like it's not like alive like a Kirk-esque era computer.
Yeah, I'm not super caught up on my Terminator lore. Like I've seen the first two, but Skynet eventually like purposefully like its intent is to destroy humans and everything, right? So it intentionally is like taking over. I liked how this thing was more so it was just the consequences of it. Like it didn't seem like it necessarily had nefarious intentions. It was just we're trying to build the perfect weapon, but in doing that they killed themselves. It was a more direct, like the species doing it to themselves. Now this weapon just exists. It's not looking to like take over anything. It's just existing. So I liked that.
Yeah, and maybe a part of it is being able to shut off its failsafe. You know, it was just able to upgrade itself because it's constantly upgrading. Like I don't know.
I mean, why would it even have a failsafe? I mean,
this guy was just trying to sell the weapons to these people. He was selling it to both sides. So he's like, oh, I don't care. This guy could probably he's probably still alive somewhere. He's like, oh no, Starfleet's on to me.
Yeah, but with that being said, again, I didn't care much for it. It was just fine. I wasn't that interested in it. So I really enjoyed on the planet the stuff with Dr. Beverly and Picard the most.
Yes. And
getting to see her little backstory about her grandmother, teaching her about the medicine plants and the roots. And then, you know, Picard being like, I'm sure there's a lot I don't know about you. And she's like, yeah, you know, quite a few. Just little nuggets. It wasn't as extensive of what we saw of Geordi in the episode for character stuff, but kind of like with Troy. We got like just a little bit there that added to the character without having to take over, the episode.
Yeah, it's weird. She's not an Earthling. Was she not born on Earth? It said like what Armada something. So
Yeah, Earth colony, a colony.
Yeah, it's weird. Like some of our like Enterprise people, they seem like like human Earthlings, but some of them might not be.
Mr. LaForge, when I left this ship, it was in one piece. I would appreciate your returning it to me in the same condition.
Okay, we're going to jump into our patron takes. This is where our patrons over on our Patreon get to comment about the episode, let us know what they think of it, as well as ask us questions about it, predict how we're going to feel about it. We don't read these until right now after watching and fully discussing the episode, so we have no idea what they're going to think about it. We only get to read a few here for the video, but we read every single take, and there's a great discussion on each episode of the show over there, so sign up for the Patreon so you can take part in the discussion and be featured in the video possibly. All right, I'll just go with the first one from Andrea Schmidt. You wanted a Geordi episode, you got it. How did you like his command style and his conversation with Counselor Troy? I think we already kind of hit on the conversation with Counselor Troy, but in terms of his command style, I wanted to bring that up because I really liked how he kind of was a lot more like fast and loose, like willing to be risky. Like the parts where he was gonna, shoot the thing and Worf's like, we can't be for sure, and he's like, all right, it's worth a try. Like you could tell he's the more young, inexperienced, like, let's just get right into it. You know what I mean? He's so eager to be the captain. As to Picard would be much more measured,
Yeah, he's not gonna risk, like wasting resources for a possible shot. He's like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not gonna lower our shields for a possible, you know what I mean?
And I think even Riker would be more restrained than what Geordi is here. And also an interesting character moment for him. He turned down being a captain of the Drake because he thought being on the Enterprise would be more, what does he say, interesting or something like that?
Intriguing, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's what he said. I mean, I'm guessing like the Enterprise, even though it's not like the one from, it's not like...
It's not A or anything.
Yeah, it's not the A or anything, but still like, it's the Enterprise.
Yeah, it's probably a big deal in this circle, or what do you call it, in the Federation, but I'm trying to think of the name for it, like in this society.
And maybe Picard has some, some integrity and popularity to him as well for being a leader.
Yeah, so I really liked that too.
All right, this one's from Jerry Brace Embraceware. The Enterprise stumbles into a 24th century pop-up ad and Riker challenges a chatbot with 1980s AI. Only one question remains unanswered. ... What is the armament on the lollipop? That's one thing I wanted to that we forgot to bring up. That's one of the reasons why I read that one, because Riker's able like to challenge this Rice guy that he brings up, like, oh yeah, Rice, I went to the academy with blah blah blah, and like we assume this guy is just dead down there, and he's able to beat this AI thing by like being confidently saying like, oh yeah, my ship, the lollipop, and things like, oh yeah, the lollipop, what's the armament? It's like, oh okay, nice little smart moment for Riker there.
Yeah, and it really lived up to, we've talked about before, how in these plots where the person you're talking to isn't actually that person, right? We've always said, like, literally just keep asking them questions, and as soon as they don't get one right, it's not really them. It's like a TV movie trope I hate, where, someone's disguised as someone else, they ask them like 2 or 3 questions, and they're kind of sus about it, and they're like, okay, anyway. And it's like, just keep asking them specific questions. They'll eventually not know. And Riker does exactly that, just totally schools them. So, yeah, really liked that. Also, that guy, decent performance for that guy playing Paul Rice.
They picked a scary-looking dude who can play, like, the top half of his face did not move at all. Like, he was totally dead.
All right, some more praise here from Chris S. This is a great episode. Being away from seasons 1 and 2, I realized that while later seasons are more character-oriented, these episodes are character-oriented. At least many of them are. This is tense in that you really see the Enterprise fully in battle for the first time. It's a great Geordi episode. That's a great point. It really is the first time. We don't see a lot of like ship-to-ship combat thus far, and the first time we do, it's Geordi as captain. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it just goes to show, like, I don't care about, all that. It's like I want some tension, some like interpersonal conflict and quarrels about humanity. You know what I'm talking about. All right, this one's from Paul Reimer. The drone was made from a pantyhose container and a shampoo bottle. It was performed by the man who made it, Dan Curry, who was wearing a green suit to blend in with the background vegetation and was animating the model by hand like a Muppet. Love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I love that there was the actual practical device. We said it was on a string, but someone in a green suit.
Even better.
That's even better.
Explains the plain blue screen in the background.
A lot of praise for the episode in the patron takes, and I don't necessarily disagree. I think that I just don't, like, I wish I liked it more. I feel like it just, like, to me, it was just a solid one. Maybe it's because we're coming off of a really strong one, but this one didn't have me, like, on the edge of my seat. I was just, like, enjoying the character stuff, and maybe the main story not being that interesting to me is what made the difference.
Yeah, I think just like the way it ended just left me on a sour note. It's like, oh, just turn it off. Oh, yep, we bought it. And then at the same time, they blow up the thing in space, which already should have been destroyed. Unless it was a perfect timing where they thought they destroyed it, but it was actually the machine shutting off.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but I loved everything before that. Just turn it off. It's like how dumb was this species? Unless I don't know, whatever.
Wait, yeah, that's actually a good point, because if Picard said that, like, couldn't any of the humans that were killed on this planet, like, so none of them figured that out?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Terminator episode. Oh, I thought you meant you were going to cut me off. I'm like, you're going to cut me off? Keep all this in.